Well, I have completely lost steering on my 25-26 Massey Ferguson. You can see. See, now it works. There, so you can see the problem right now. Look under here, I got the deck off already. Problem is right here. Those gears, I don't know if I can show it up, but turn the wheel. The bearings in here are worn out and the gears separate and just slip. Don't turn the steering, so I gotta fix that somehow. Well, so it appears I've fixed the steering for now at least. So all I did was loosen up these two nuts right here where we have your pinion gear coming out and just pushed it forward some, which took up some of the slack, and it seems to work now. Now the correct way to do it would be completely disassemble this and put in new bushings in it, but I really don't feel like doing that because I gotta drive way out of town to go get the bits for it that I need, and they take forever to come in. Plus, I'm just doing this to get by for now. So, we'll test drive it, see if it works. I guess you can call this a cold start. The battery is completely dead, so I got my jumper pack on it, which isn't charged that much either. Barely enough to start it. Lovely. Some of this rubbish out of the way. So the steering is fixed. That actually works quite nice. It's got to go to good grease. That'll be fine. Sharpened my blades. You can see they're quite hammered from last year, quite badly, especially this one. This one's not too bad, but let's clean all that up. Grease the two spindles, as well as grease all the grease zerks on the tractor. I'm going to get a hood hinge for it, as well as replace the one plastic vent piece on the carburetor, because you can see it's leaking petrol everywhere, but I'll get around to that. Also seems kind of clean, but I'll run that for another maybe 10 hours and change it. Got some petrol in it. Now we got the deck mostly cleaned off. All the rubbish for it came off right there. And this piece here broke off last year, which goes right here. So I guess I'll weld that on right now, since the deck is off. So I won't have to pull it off and do it later. I already got the ends prepared for welding. It's difficult to put this back on considering if the angles is broken off, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Now I don't want to cut off what's left of it on the deck because then it'll be too short to weld on, so good enough to get a couple tacks on it. And you have to get some of the slag off and hold it on completely. And I'm using flux core so you can get quite a bit of slag. That's it. Molds actually came out better than I thought they'd be, considering the surface is so rusty and dirty. Now, one thing to keep in mind is when you're welding on stuff like this that has moving bits with bearings in them, is never put your ground clamp on something that you're welding that's so that the power will go through the bearings. Let's say you're welding like on this nut, right on this bolt right here, and have your ground clamp there. When you weld through it, you'll arc through the bearings and destroy them. So if you're welding like on this bolt, you need to put your ground clamp like here or after the bearings so you don't destroy the bearings. Same as goes for this, like put it on something so the electricity doesn't go through moving parts, you know. Don't put it like there, because then it'll go through the bearings and you'll ruin them. So let's clean those off a little bit and that'll be good, and we'll grease it and put the blades back on. Here's the deck all put back together. You can see my welds when I cleaned off the slag. Not bad. Blades back on, I got them sharpened as best as I can. I knew they're nicked up quite badly, so it's a little better than they were before. And greased the spindles as well as the other greasable parts on the tractor, and I will put the deck back on. Well, I got the carburetor apart. I'm going to fix the fuel leak on it, which is up here. Small piece of plastic up top you see, or the brass nipple right there. That used to be plastic, it broke off and tried fixing it last year, but it still leaked, so it's like just a vent, and that just hooks onto a small hose and goes down to the side of the firm rail. Here's a new part from Honda. Here's what's under that vent piece. You get some fuel passages, and normally that'll be all full of fuel, but I ran it dry because the fuel line is connected, so there's no fuel spilling out. Get the new piece. Get your own rubber gasket for it, and small piece of plastic. Ridiculously expensive as that was. $36 for that stupid piece of plastic. A lot more parts are ridiculously expensive. You might as well work on a car, cheaper, but anyway, it's got to be fixed. Nice big carburetor, 2-barrel, one for each cylinder. You got your fuel shut-off cylinder right there. Much more simple to work on Briggs & Stratton. Very simple linkage to hook up. And by the way, it's the Honda GXV 530 engine. Good engine, I like it. There's overhead cam. If you look carefully in there, you can't see it, but there's no heads on it. You just have these cylinder jugs with the valves and everything built into them. It just slips over the piston just like a 2-stroke engine, but this is a 4-stroke. You got your timing chains in the bottom for each cylinder. Well, there it is, all fixed. Just gotta put it back on the engine. So now to change the fluid in the hydrostatic transmission in it. Now, the transmission in this particular lawn tractor is a sealed unit from the factory. You're technically never supposed to change the fluid, but I say that's rubbish because the fluid wears out and the transmission goes out. And you gotta buy a new one. Transaxle for like $1,000 for one of these, so I found a way to change it. Still got the original fluid from it. It's got about, I'm guessing, 400 hours on it. Here's the oil I'm using. X-Mark hydraulic fluid, especially made for hydrostatic transmissions and the zero-turn mowers mainly. So now the way you do this on this one, it's a sealed unit. Look down in there, you gotta pull the battery out. Down in there, that hole is right there, if you see it. So that is a vent plug. So this is what it looks like from the top. Pop this off and you have this thing. Just pop that out with a screwdriver and you have your vent. A hole where you can suck the fluid out and put new fluid in. And what I also did is made myself a dipstick. It's just some bronze brazing rod and stuck it in as far as it would go and checked the level. And after that I marked it right there. Camera's not focusing on it, but I made a marking right there so I know that's how far the oil level is. Go ahead and stick it in. Out. So the oil's right up to it. It's not that bad, but you can see it's getting kind of dark. Mind you, that's just a very thin film of it. And if you get more of it, you get it's quite black. So it definitely needs changed. It doesn't smell burnt or anything, it just smells like automatic transmission fluid to me. So I will pump that out. It's just a hand pump into that. We'll see what it looks like, and then put some in and run it for like a few minutes, both in forward and reverse, and suck it out again. Refill it. Do that about 3 times for I got 3 quarts of it. And the transaxle on this one uses 80 ounces, so should have enough for a good flush. And I got some of it pumped out. Here's what the oil looks like. See, very black. Definitely needs changing. And I think the oil itself is just literally worn out because when it's cold or you just started it up and you want to drive it a little bit, especially at idle, and you try to take off, the transmission really growls, but then it warms up and it goes away and it's fine. So I think that's mostly due to the oil. Here's how much oil I was able to pump out. Not much, considering most of it's still in the internals of the transmission. So here's what the new oil looks like. Green in color. You can see it on the walls of the container. Much clearer versus this one, a lot darker. So I'll put that much in and jack it up and run it in forward and reverse for like 5 minutes, and then pump it out again. Keep doing this until I have gone through all 3 quarts. That's how I put the oil in. Just jam a funnel carefully down the hole and carefully pour it in because the funnel doesn't go in all the way, but if you do it slowly enough you won't spill any. You know, got the battery in. It's very time consuming because you got to do this every time you want to get to the fluid to pump it out and put new fluid in, but the battery connected. Disconnected the safety switch for the seat because I don't want to have to be sitting in it when I'm running it through forward and reverse, and I just jack it up and run it. There you go, that's all you really want to do, is run it like that for like 5 minutes. And then repeat the fluid flushing until you've gone through all 3 quarts. Well, that's it, it's all done. Got it all put back together. Flushed all 3 quarts of oil through it. There's the old stuff that came out of it. I guess that's it for this video. It's been quite long. Thanks for watching.